when people said nice words, I believed them.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't?
And that was my biggest mistake.
Because we don't.
That was the first mistake I made, and the biggest mistake I made when I came to this country.
I people like to lie sometimes. Even if there's no benefit.
I believe people.
Even if there's no benefit.
Because
sometimes people just lie.
Because I was raised in a country where they will tell you to your face, good or bad, and I'm okay with it. But when I got here, it was different. So that was why I'm like, if you have a child, you want the best for your child.
Yeah.
I want you to marry somebody with European spirit, but of course I have to
face the bias of skin tone. It's called colorism, and it's an eye-opening
bias around skin tones, not among different ethnic groups, but within the same communities of color. Some call it light privilege.
She's pretty for a dark-skinned girl.
Their parents will call me negro, which means black.
And a preference for light skin over dark. The unfortunate phenomenon spread across all groups of color.
Within Asian Americans, this model minority mindset to distance yourself from other people of color.
Take a look at the differences in wages for a dark-skinned African American, a brown skin, and a light-skinned African American. The study showing hourly wages among blacks literally rising as skin tone lightens. Lighter-skinned minorities viewed as more intelligent by employers, even with identical education as their darker-skinned counterparts. Experts say these examples of colorism have long-lasting effects of both mental and physical trauma.
Hello, people.
I'm coffeeed. Coffee is going on here. Coffee is happening. Hello, friends. How are you guys doing? It's such a beautiful Sunday. There's no rain. The weather is nice. And TJ is chilling. I'm happening. Am I? Birthday month, guys. Everybody write on the comment section, say happy birthday, Diokpa. Please. Let me say happy birthday to you now.
You can absolutely say happy birthday.
And he said, oh yeah, really, she's light-skinned. That's how I know that I really like her, because I'm only into light-skinned women. And I didn't understand it. We just came from Germany that time.
Yeah.
And I was confused, because being in Germany, we didn't see light or dark skin. It's weird.
Yeah, because everybody's getting chased by the same soccer hooligans at the end of the day. If anything.
Alright, if you're from Turkey, Italians, Greek, like we all belong to the same group. If you're Poland, if you're anything from Germany.
Africans weren't even getting the worst of it.
So sometimes they just ignore us.
We'll get to you later. 15 of us.
I discovered that our auntie uses some chemical enhancements. You know what I'm saying? If you're from Nigeria, if you're from Africa, say, yeah, auntie, I hear you. Chemical enhancement. You pronounce yourself. In French, it's good the way they say it. They call it maquillage. Let me draw my part, please. French, they call it maquillage. When your skin is Nigeria Igbo. You see this Fanta drink? The leg is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola leg and Fanta face.
People aren't serious. So
now, one of my daughters, you know who you are. You better thumbs up in the comment section, because hey, you asked Auntie to do this. So people say, why are you so proud of being dark, or being chocolatey, or being, what do you call it? Make a more melanated. That's why I'm wearing black today. You see what I'm doing? Oh no, you see, I'm wearing black, melanated. Anyway, I've taken a lot of coffee, so forgive me. It's happening.
That she requested.
I requested coffee.
No, not requested, demanded.
I begged for. I said it for. I said, please. You see, please, and you say thank you. I said please and thank you. I said please, it's in your phone.
I was please, coffee and breakfast ready. Thanks.
I was abbreviating.
Yes, okay. Because it was no time on the 35 minutes ride. Please, coffee and breakfast ready. Thanks.
Okay, let me say it.
Shout out that cook.
By every...
You are a middle child.
And anytime the elders were gossiping, I will hide under the couch like this one. I want to hear every gossip. I don't know, I was always very inquisitive. I want to know what people are saying. Especially when they are normal. It's one things I'm not allowed to hear.
Inquisitive, that's the word.
I used to hear everything. So one day, I was hiding in my hiding space again, and my grandma, Mama, of blessed memory, Mama was talking with one of our neighbors' wives. And she and the other Mama were talking. And Mama was talking about, when I was young, oh, I used to be like this. My waist was this snatched. My boobs were pointing to heaven. My this, I'm like, what? I can't hear this, not Mama, not from your mother. She was talking to her fellow Mama. And she was like, my teeth whiter than the snow. I'm like, yay! She's like, the beauty of those days. My skin black, ebony, shining and glittering. Then I pitched myself. And I'm waiting. And the other Mama was concurring, saying, yes, imagine our black, glistening skin. And that actually was what shaped my beauty, my image of beauty. It's so funny that you say things and children are listening and you are not aware how much we affect our children with what we are saying. We're thinking I'm teaching her to be proud of her skin color. I'm teaching, but what are you saying? What is your language? What are you doing? What are you showing her? If you say all those things and your little daughter sees that you're using chemical enhancement.
This little girl decided that the darker girl was ugly and the lighter skinned girl was beautiful. We have work to do. We all do have work to do. Can you imagine growing up like that, thinking that you are not beautiful and there's nothing you can do about it?
And you're telling her, you are a beautiful brown girl. Mommy loves you the way you are. And your little girl sees that mommy uses some chemical enhancement, aka maquillage, aka ihu fanta, upper cook. And she's asking herself, that means mommy wants to look better. That means mommy is not good enough with this. Mommy needs to look like this.
This is the improvement.
This is the improvement. Because that's maquillage. That's makeup. You know, like when they say maquillage in French, they mean
deep tissue maquillage.
Yeah, deep tissue maquillage. You know, you have enhanced yourself so you can look 4 colors lighter than the way God created you.
Yeah.
There's a problem. Brushing my teeth more regularly. I said that finding any way to clean my teeth because Mom, I heard overheard. Mama never sat me down and said, your teeth has to be white. But I overheard that conversation.
That this is important.
And that conversation went because the way she was talking, the way she was full of light, her eyes were glowing when she was talking about her youth and her things that made her feel young in those days. What was beautiful about her that she's lost because of age and sickness, you know, and whatever. Those 1920s that people used to go to the dentist.
1920s Nigeria.
I couldn't believe it that was even possible.
No.
That's our landlord's wife. She confessed that her open teeth was artificial. I'm like, clench my pillows.
Cosmetic surgery.
She had a cosmetic, she had an enhancement surgery to make her teeth, to get the tooth gap.
That's wild.
I could, like I said.
So all you people that are looking at Krishan and saying, oh, these youth of today are so lost. Look at her getting surgery on her tooth to make herself look good for Blueface. My friend.
Yeah, grandmama, open teeth might not have been.
You have open teeth somehow.
I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was really open.
It was really open, yeah.
And then all my adult teeth came in and it pushed it into.
But you know, guys, how those things, we have to really be careful. When I'm saying this, as a childcare provider, I'm telling you that things we do, the colors we wear to class, the food we eat, the way we laugh, things we laugh at, things that scare us. These children are watching us.
Yeah.
And that might actually be the point of no return for them, where they make a certain decision from what they've observed.
That's going to be the entire basis of how they form all their connections.
Do you understand that? When I met your dad, the first thing I saw about him was he had an open teeth. He had a gap.
And that was a thing in your.
That has been a great. I didn't even understand it until later on. I'm like, why am I attracted to this guy? That was one of the things.
Man.
When he smiled, I saw the open teeth. There was a connection.
No, if I had open teeth, I would be too Congolese for my own.
There was a connection. I didn't care he was from Congo. I didn't care he was from Jerusalem.
Wait.
Open teeth got me. And his dark skin color. I always wanted, like, if the dark, oh my goodness. All those things that Mama said, the way it influenced me.
All that to say that historically that meant that Blackness seemed to be a punishment, right? So that if you had any bit of mixing and listen to the language, you got to be something else. You didn't have to be Black. So Blackness was a punishment of sorts. I say that just to preface me growing up. I probably knew that I was dark-skinned before I knew how to spell my name. I wasn't invited to someone who I thought was one of my best friends in elementary school. I wasn't invited to her birthday party because her mama said I was too Black. Yeah.
This is a Black girl or another Black child or a white child?
I'm going to call her Creole.
What said thou to this topic? Let me take a little break because I don't even know how to go about this topic because for me it doesn't make sense.
Trying to decide how
African men across the diaspora.
Okay. Yeah. For African men across the diaspora,
In dating habits,
Yeah.
there is a propensity towards lighter skin. Like folks are, it is a thing that seems to happen. Now, the reason it's happening is because, we all done all the research, we've heard all the stories, we've read all the books, all the things say the same thing over and over again. White people taught us that the only lovable way to be is proximal to whiteness, or anything that's close to that is automatically closer to the established beauty standard, which means it gets more play, which means it gets more opportunity. The other part of that that's more complex
is that because you're more proximal to whiteness, which means that socially speaking, you do have some sort of inherent privilege.
Inherent privilege. Okay, privilege.
Even as a child, I saw what's the mayor look like, right? What city council look like? What the students at Xavier look like? I could see the power and privilege that was assigned to lighter skin. I could also see how lighter skinned folks treated me. Like,
also feel a lot more comfortable to be socially, to be personally adventurous, to be more outgoing, to seek after the partners that you want because you don't think there's a barrier in the same way that there's an inherent barrier psychologically if you've been conditioned to think of darker skin as inferior. So if you're lighter skinned, you don't think there's anything standing between you and that dude, which is why sometimes when
my grandma, that made the difference.
Listen, this is
Can that be what made the difference? Just one conversation with my grandma.
It is very scary, but it is very possible. It's one thing that changes you as a child. You don't know what the conversation will be.
Nobody knows.
Your parents will.
We have to be careful. My mom doesn't know. I'm sure if I show my mom this video, she'll be shocked.
Nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know.
I'll overhear Mama and our landlady talking about their beauty ideals and how they appreciate it. And that was it for me.
And that thing affecting you as far as light skin versus dark skin, all those little tiny moments that a darker skinned girl is told over and over again that she should dream less, that she should want less, that she's being a little
too dark skinned girl.
Darker skinned girls, yeah. That she's being told, you should want less. You should
or
care
comparing
about
her to a lighter skin.
They don't even even if they don't have lighter skinned people there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just nothing but dark skinned people in the house, and still from your dark skinned aunties, from your dark skinned mom, from your dark skinned daddy sometimes.
So you are beautiful for a dark skin.
Yeah, if only maybe we need to. This needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed before you're enough. You don't think like over and over again. Those are bricks that build up. Now you get to adult age. You're waiting on what you want to openly admit it wants you, so that you feel safe enough to want it openly. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job, whether that's school achievement. I've seen that happen. Something, and then, yes, lighter skinned people get automatic social advantage in a lot of cases, but also, sometimes, just like with whiteness, sometimes the social advantage is not having to think about the thing.
Yeah. You don't even realize that you have that.
You don't have to think
privilege. You don't think about the privilege.
That's the privilege.
Means you have
That's the privilege. Not having, like me, I can calmly go outside my house at 2 o'clock in the morning and take a stroll. My mom can't do that. It's a safety concern.
Yeah.
That's an inherent privilege. Now, me being able to do that opens my mind up to think those thoughts at 2 a.m. that don't have to do with,
while my brain is busy trying to say, I need to be safe.
While she's trying to think about, I need to be safe, all I have to think about is, oh, that's real interesting. Oh, I wonder about the sound of the moon. Oh, and these things build. Now I'm building a life on top of all these realizations I'm having in my free time. Because I'm not thinking about
So now you mean the little girl now.
Now the little girl
is trying to say, how am I going to make myself, how am I going to make myself look pretty, although I'm dark skinned? How am I going to not look dark? How am I not going to...
And then all those things are taken away
from how she's supposed to build other parts of her brain, develop her other parts of her brain.
I'm not saying that she's not going to be able to do that. I'm saying that is an impediment to doing it to
and
a
it makes
full
it
capacity.
even more difficult for her to
by
slide through.
By the pure numbers, if you're having to think about this very serious thing that will affect every part of your life, you literally have less time to think about the things that you actually
I always told you about my great-grandmother in a blessed memory, Mama Olulu, that she was called Olulu because she was very light-skinned.
Yeah.
Olulu in our language means wool, white wool, or cotton, cotton wool. It means wool, Olulu. Because of how very, very light-skinned, she even had, like, I think green eyes or something. She was extremely light-skinned. So, but anytime I entered her hut to visit her when we went to the village, she starts calling me her princess from the door, and she made sure I sat on her laps. And all my cousins also were always very, very light-skinned, and there wasn't a difference in it. And she never, actually, I never remembered my great-grandmother calling me by my name. She always called me princess. You know, she always called me princess, and she always told me how beautiful I was. And that stayed with me for the rest of my life, that nobody can tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I don't care, even if I woke up with that thing in my eye, I say I'm beautiful. You've overheard this. I'm looking at myself, girl, you are so fine. You are so beautiful, because that's all I know. You know, and even when I was bullied as a child, and they said, get away, you're so ugly. Because my younger sister is really quite like Olulu. She actually was called the little Olulu, which Olulu said, there's no little Olulu. Every Olulu is Olulu. That's my great-grandmother understood that.
You have to be careful how you speak.
The impact the things you tell children will have later in their lives. Don't belittle some that your little job, no, there's nothing little about my daughter. Don't say little Olulu, she's Olulu, period. So that's under the condition which I think that was the privilege I had, and I didn't even realize it. You know, that being a little girl, I was taught that I was enough. I was taught, not by somebody taking me to school and teaching me that, but overhearing conversation, seeing the way my great-grandmother treated me. My great-grandmother, who was very respected, you know, that had her level in the village, made her to be like a village icon. And whenever I entered her hut, she stood up and called me her princess. And she wouldn't even let me sit down on a chair. I always sat on her laps. Even when I was really big, I sat on her laps. And my grandmother, overhearing my grandmother saying about how beautiful black skins are, dark skins, how luxurious.
And everybody was always freaking out, oh my God, I'm gonna get dark, And I would look at my skin.
They were scared of being darker.
And I would look at my skin, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool.
If a second grader is scared of being darker, and you were just coming from Germany,
and I was
where
like, this is kind of
stay
cool.
in the sun,
on purpose.
where people stay in the sun on purpose to get darker.
Like, wow, this is cool. Because I've never been able to get this dark.
And now in Texas, in the school you went to, people were scared.
I was surrounded by black kids, and it was the first time.
So it was part of the punishment to this second grader, that if you do something wrong, they'll place you in the sun so that you get darker. So the fear of being darker will make you to behave yourself in the class.
And they knew what they were doing.
Because I stay in the sun, I'm going to get darker.
They only did that to the black and brown kids, so they knew what they were doing. White kids got different punishment.
So that is quite serious, you know.
Oh yeah.
So this now changes their brain.
Yeah.
Their
1999. Missouri City.
What's said about that? Does that impact your dating habit?
It doesn't impact my dating habits. What I have noticed is that, and I actually wrote a song about this. I'm going to be working it through this week. It goes, me and all my crushes got the same trauma. That's why the other think the other don't like the other. So.
Can you sing the verse of it?
Me and all my crushes got the same trauma. That's why they ever think the I don't like the other. That's why they ever think the I don't like the other. That's why they ever think the I don't like the other. Me and all my crushes got the same trauma. So that's a, you know.
Yeah.
But waiting to be seen and chosen means that only people who have been empowered to choose you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always people who have been empowered to choose that you want to date.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the only one available to you and they're decent enough, you make concession. You know, it's not to say that you're like settling, but yeah, you kind of are. You know, you're settling for what you think wants you instead of what you want.
Honestly speaking,
because the fact
I'm
is,
very Zalandish.
There you go. You are very Zalandish.
I'm very Zalandish.
I'm also very Zalandish, and we're both also very black.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of very Zalandish people that also happen to be very black.
So
very
I would have preferred you. So when I said European, I meant that I wanted you to have somebody with that mindset.
Somebody who's not. Let's
but it has nothing to do with that skin.
Yeah. Somebody that's not aggressively American.
Ooh. Yep. When you were not liked, they told you straight up, I don't like you because you are African. I don't like you because you're short. I can't stand you because you're this. I'm able to avoid such people. I'm able to avoid, because when I came to America, the cultural shock I had is that, oh honey, oh bless your heart. It's because we loved, our first place was Texas. So Southern. So people will be polite, people will be lovely.
I thought everybody liked us.
Yeah.
But there were so many.
I didn't know.
They hated us, yo.
I escaped. I ran away from Texas on New Year's Eve. Millennium. Yeah, 1999, December 31st. I took the flight.
New life.
I ran, left my job, left everything, and ran to come to Maryland.
Yeah, a week. No. It's like 2 or 3 people that saved everybody's life.
We were at the airport, there was so much panic. Everybody's face was stolen. If you have a child, you want the best for your child.
Yeah.
I want you to marry somebody with European spirit, but of course I said it in such a way that it looks as if, are you racist? I'm like, I only want you to date a white woman. I said, Uche, if you don't date a white woman, you have a problem.
Hey, I was like, yo.
Which is like, Mama, I will date whoever I like. I said, that might probably not happen, but I did. I'm like, no, you have to date a white woman. And I couldn't bring it into words.
What it was.
What I meant.
Yeah. But that's, like, we had to go through a little bit more to have the words for it, because the words for it didn't exist in the reality we lived.
We lived in, exactly.
It wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
Imagine somebody
overheard my conversation.
Yeah.
I don't like
and that is what we call.
What's wrong with that lady?
And that is what we call.
They would have said I hated my race.
Yeah, of course. They would say self-hate. And that is what we call privilege.
That was privilege. We were privileged.
Yeah. Not having to think about a certain mindset, because everybody had that mindset, because that's the only way to survive in Europe. The only way to do well in Europe is to be earnest and not care about what people think about you.
That's the way it was.
That's the only way. My mom was a black woman in Germany in the 80s after the fall of the wall and had 3 businesses and 2 jobs.
And I was teaching in college. I was teaching
without
cuisine
without
in college.
A master's degree. Out in Germany.
And I was able to author a book.
Yeah.
That was published in Germany in different languages with my
racist
picture in it.
And black picture.
And it was still sold for 47 Dutch mark.
47 Dutch mark.
My book So can you imagine that here?
Those things, America has a problem. And it's not just the Beyonce song.
Ooh, sister. Bring a girl, no matter how she looks. I mean, color-wise. I mean, I care how my grandchildren will look.
Thank you.
I feel that freedom. I feel that freedom because we have worked on all these things. Therapy and everything. Therapy that
a lot of work.
Put in the work. Inyala said,
you cannot avoid doing the work.
You have to put in the work, especially if you've been traumatized. The trauma was real, you know. So all I can say now, generally, to is it colorism, tribalism, racism, all the isms, is whatever ism you want to put to it, because they all do exist. Is do the work, find out who you are, live your life fearlessly, live your life. Be you light-skinned, be you black-skinned, be you dark-skinned, be you average-skinned, it doesn't matter. When they cut this open, you still see blood.
Yeah.
It's just but skin deep. It's just but skin deep. I'm into what is in your character. What are you made of? It's the bone of it all that I'm interested in. That's the only thing I can say about it. Go for the bone of it all. Because guess what? You can take medication and you can change your skin color. Darker or whiter. Can even change your eye color.
Shoot, Tiny showed that.
But one thing you cannot change
So you're nasty.
is what you're nasty.
Yes.
Tell them to always be what?
For a nasty spirit.
So all those colorism, push them away. Live your best life. And remember to always be what? A point of light. Let the light come from the inside. It's good. Everything na double. Everything na double. Hey.